Welcome to the castle. My name is Nightsaber Z42 and this is Character Vault, a series where I go through the entire character creation process from start to finish in various RPGs. And today we're going to be taking a look at Coriolis, the Great Dark. This is a special edition cover, so if yours looks different, that's fine. For now, let's go ahead and pop this book open and see what the whole process entails. Our journey into character creation begins in Chapter 2, and there are 15 steps to creating your Explorer. First, we're going to roll or choose our origin and take its talent. Then we'll choose a profession. Then we're going to roll and choose your specialty and take its talent. Then we're going to distribute 24 points to 6 attributes. Then we're going to calculate our health, hope, and heart scores. Then we're going to distribute 3 additional talent points. Then we're going to roll or choose a quirk. Then we'll roll or choose your equipment and keepsake. We'll roll or choose our name and appearance. We'll roll and choose the reason you became an explorer. We'll assemble our crew and give it a name. And then we're going to note our crew maneuvers. Then we're going to get equipment from the Explorers Guild, which is the default guild that we'll start with. Then we're going to choose our bird type and note its powers. And then finally, we get to choose a shuttle and a rover for our crew. Before we became an explorer, we were somebody else. We had a profession in some other field, or maybe not. Maybe we were really good in our field and we became an explorer for whatever reason. But we have a variety of options to choose or roll for, such as the decrepit halls of an orphanage, the depths of a mining colony, under the sunless sky of the far colonies, among the alleys and shanties of Aluminum Bay, under the iron sky of the dome, somewhere in the eternal fog of the haze, and many others. We can actually roll a D66 to randomly generate one of these options, or we can actually choose. And that actually sounds really good, so let's go ahead and roll and see where it is that we came from. So I got my D66 right here, or actually just 2 D6s. I'm going to make orange the 10s and the green the 1 spot, so let's go ahead and roll and see what we get. All right, we have a 35 right there, which is under the iron sky of the dome. We do get a talent right off the bat, which is Acrobat 1. We also have some associated factions that kind of go along with that origin, which could be a machinist, the gardeners, the navigators, the black toad, or the Coriolites. And then we can get a contact of some sort as well, which I'm probably not going to go ahead and do. I would rather do that with my actual group that I play with, so I'm going to elect to keep that blank. But I will take the talent, which is Acrobat 1. With that out of the way, we are ready to choose a profession. If you've played any Free League game, then this step will be actually quite easy because everything that you really need is going to be right there on the 2-page spread for your profession. So we have things like the artist, the enforcer, the esoteric, the odd jobber, the roughneck, the scholar, the scoundrel, and the traveler. And I'm actually going to choose the scholar as my profession. Our key attribute is logic, and we have access to a few talents to choose from, such as investigator, librarian, smart, and teratology. On the opposite page, we have specialties, and every profession has 6 specialties to choose from or roll for. So for the scholar, we have the guild archivist, the algebraist apprentice, slipstream cartographer, the diaspora historian, the cave botanist, and the builder archaeologist. And I actually like the sound of the builder archaeologist, so that is what I'm going to go with. We do get a free talent with that as well, and our free talent is archaeology 1. Archaeology is a knowledge talent that you can have 1 to 3 ranks in, and with it you get +1 base die per talent level for understanding ruins and monuments. Next, we're going to distribute 24 points to 6 attributes. Each attribute must have at least a 2 and a maximum of 5, unless that is your key attribute for that profession. So for example, logic is the key attribute for the scholar, so I can at least put that up to a 6 if I want. The 6 attributes that we have available are strength, which is raw muscle power and brawn. We have agility, which is body control and speed. Logic, which is intelligence and power of deduction. Perception, which is awareness and vigilance. insight, which is mental stability and intuition, and empathy, which is charisma and manipulation of others. I'm going to put a 2 in strength and a 2 into agility. Those are kind of like my dumb stats. I only need those for the bare minimum because we use our brains around here. My logic, however, I'm going to keep that at 5 because I want my perception to be 4 and I would like my insight to also be 4. My empathy is going to be 3 because that's all that I have left. Next, we have 3 additional stats to go ahead and figure out, and that is health, hope, and heart. Health represents your vitality and stamina, and so whenever you take physical damage of any sort, you're going to take health damage, and this is going to equal our strength and agility scores combined. Hope represents our resolve and willpower, and that is degraded by despair, and the maximum that we can get for hope is our logic and empathy scores combined. Heart represents our humanity and clarity of mind, which is degraded by blight, and the max total for heart is our insight plus perception scores. So that means my health is going to be a measly 4, but that's okay, we're not going to be in the front lines. Our hope will be 8, and our heart will be 9. Next, we have access to 3 additional talents. We can actually take 3 level 1 talents, or we can go up to a level 2 in a talent if we really want to. And our talents are actually separated by category, which is nice. We have combat talents, social talents, vehicle and exo talents, knowledge talents, we have insight talents, equipment talents, recovery talents, stealth and mobility talents, and resilience talents. So remember, on the Scholar, we have access to Investigator, Librarian, Smart, and Teratology. I'm going to take a 2 in Investigator and a 1 in Smart. For Investigator, you get +1 base die per talent level when searching an area for clues. Smart, for some reason, is a Resilience talent, and with that, you can push any roll based on logic twice. Next, we get to roll or choose a quirk, and I'm going to roll on the D66 table for our quirk. Again, our orange will be the 10s and our green will be the 1s, and so we rolled a 46, which says a lot, which actually kind of makes sense for an intellect, I guess. They do kind of say a lot when they're thinking, right? While we're here, we are going to go ahead and roll for a keepsake before we roll for equipment. And this is another D66 roll, so same rules apply here. We have a 26, which is Dog-Eared Book, Mind Expanding Fungi Recipes, Volume 4 by J.W. Marca-Talam. All right. Our equipment is actually on the Scholar Profession page, and so we're going to roll a single D6 for that, and we rolled a 6, which is an Info Cube, Fancy Clothing, and Waking Pills. Our name is going to be something that I've picked, and that is Joshua, but what about our appearance? So we have another D66 table for that, and I've rolled a 52, which is Patterned Scarf Covering Face. Okay. What are we, Doctor Who? And then we get to roll the reason that we became an explorer, which is another D66 table if you want to roll for that. Or, of course, you can always come up with your own. But I'm rolling, and I've rolled a 56, which is you were fascinated by the mystery of the builders, which actually makes a whole lot of sense because we are an archaeologist who specializes in builders. So, hey, it actually rolled up for us quite well. Now we get to assemble our crew. And the thing about the crew is everybody in it has a specific role. You can be a delver, a scout, a burrower, a guard, or an archaeologist. And you can actually switch back and forth between the different roles. This is especially handy if you're not playing with 5 other players. I've gone ahead and named my crew the Crimson Drifters, but the most important thing that you're going to get, aside from your standard guild equipment, which is a backpack, fusilier pistol, your choice of a light or standard delving suit, which I'm choosing light, or D6 points of supply, which, hold on just a second, I've rolled 1, yep, yippee, we're going to die pretty quickly, is the roll maneuvers. A roll maneuver is special training that you get from a guild, and it provides a bonus with certain skills. And each different role in the crew has a different maneuver, and you can actually buy different crew maneuvers using experience. The crew maneuver for the archaeologist role is analyze. So you or another explorer in the same zone get +2 base dice for one attack on a specific enemy, which is going to be handy. In addition to that, each role has a special piece of equipment that they use. And for the archaeologist, it's a worn copy of the Book of Glyphs. Now, when you actually have your entire crew ready to go, one of the last things that you're going to do is to, figure out what your bird looks like. And there are 3 different types of birds that you can get. And the bird is the most essential aspect of your entire crew, because this is what you use to detect blight. And so the 3 different bird types are Ward, Guide, and Spectre. And each one has like a different talent that they start with. They have different health and different energies that they also start with. And so we're going to go ahead and roll for this. And the specific bird type that I've rolled is a 1, which is the Ward type. We've also got a D66 table for bird descriptions, and this will describe the color, the body, the personality, and even a name if you want. So let's go ahead and roll. I'm going to roll for color first, and I've gotten a 16, which is ashen gray. For the body, I have rolled a 32, which is scaly hide. For personality, I have rolled a 44, which is inquisitive, which is very good because we're going to be sending him into all sorts of dangerous places. And for the name, we have a 14, which is Zula. Now, our bird, also called the Garuda, has a few basic powers, such as attack, defend, clear the blight, blight scan, soak blight, and glow. But depending on the type of Garuda that you have will also determine its other advanced powers. The advanced Garuda power that the ward starts off with is the Raptor's Call. With the aid of the bird, one attack performed by an explorer later in the round inflicts an automatic critical injury if it hits, regardless of whether or not the attack penetrated cover and armor. And last but not least, we get to choose 2 different vehicles. We have ground vehicles and our shuttle. And for the rover, we have access to 3. The Rhino All-Terrain Rover, the Crocodile Tracker Rover, and the Sphinx Gravity Projection Rover. And we're going to go ahead and choose the most basic of basics, and that's the Rhino All-Terrain Rover. Has maneuverability +3, a speed of 2, a hull of 9, armor of 6, and blight protection of 4. It can carry 1,500 supply, is wheeled, and it could carry 5 passengers, and it has a comfortable bunk bed, an airlock, and a tow line. For the shuttles, which we have access to 3 of, we can choose the Grasshopper, the Owl, or the Manta. I am going to choose the Manta. It has a maneuverability of 4, a combat speed of 4, a hull of 12, armor of 5, travel speed of 2, a range of 20, can carry 5 passengers, has cargo of 2,000 supply, and it has an enhanced avionics 1 as an upgrade. And that's really all there is to creating a character. So let's go ahead and take a look at the final character sheet. So here we have Joshua, the scholar, whose specialty is the builder archaeologist. He likes to say, a lot, and he has a patterned scarf, which he kind of also wraps around his face. It must be like a germaphobe or something like that. Anyways, he really likes builders, and that's kind of why he became an archaeologist. His health is at 4, his hope is 8, his heart is 9. His strength is a measly 2, as his agility. His logic is at 5, his perception is at 4, his insight is at 4, and his empathy is at 3. For his talents, he has Archaeology 1, Acrobat 1, Investigator 2, and Smart 1. He comes from the Dome, and that is his origin. And we didn't really talk about this, but Rook is the currency of this game, and your origin, or the place where you start, determines how much Rook you have to start with. And for the Iron Sky of the Dome, or having your origin as the Dome, you get 3d6 times 100 Rook, and I rolled a 13, so there we go, 1300 right there. He has a backpack, a Fusillard Cricket, which they don't really specify in the book. They just said Fusillard pistol, and there's like a revolver and a cricket. So I chose the cricket because I thought that would be something he would have as a scholar. Nothing really high powered, but something he can use to defend himself with. He has a supply of 1, so he's probably going to be the first to go unless he starts begging real fast and real hard. He's got a book of glyphs from the Explorers Guild, and he's also got a book about fungi as his keepsake. He has a light delving suit with an armor rating of 1 and blight protection of 3, and it has features such as the comlink, filter pack, electric lantern, and its vacuum resistance. Speaking of the Fusilier Cricket, it has a bonus of +2, it deals 2 damage, has a crit threshold of 4, and you can only use it at engaged or short range. It has 1/2 weight, and it is concealable and low capacity. And really, that's it for the character. Of course, you're going to have a different crew sheet that'll have things like your vehicles and your bird, as well as your crew maneuvers, but that's really all there is to creating a character. So feel free to leave a comment down below. If you've built a character in the Coriolis, the Great Dark System, or even the Third Horizon, go ahead and tell me about them. I always like reading other people's works, so feel free to comment that down below. Give this video a huge thumbs up to help support the series, and I will see you guys in the next video.